One of the operations you'll take on probably a daily basis is changing various settings. And in Windows 8, there's a couple of things that you need to be aware of for working with settings. Now, there's a number of places to change settings, and I just want to show you those in this video. Then we're going to drill into some of the specific settings and some of the specific tools for settings in separate videos. Okay, first of all, there are a number of places to make settings changes out here on the start screen and working in these Windows 8 applications. First of all, if I right-click anywhere in Windows 8, I'm generally going to get some sort of settings or options page. Notice if I right-click out here in just an open area on the start screen, I get the All Apps. And if I click that, it takes me out to the list of all the apps that I can then pin to the Start button. We will talk about those later on in the course in some different places. But then on the individual tiles themselves, if I right-click on the tile, I can see some settings. For example, I can make that tile smaller, or I can make that tile larger. But a right-click chooses that particular tile for some generic settings, and you will see them down here at the bottom. Notice this one can unpin from the start, or I can see all apps. Okay. Now I can right-click to turn that back off. Then the charms bar, I can hit Win Logo C. All right. Or if I'm using a touch interface, just swipe in from the right, just swipe in like this. Let me get up here where you can see it. Just swipe in. Or I can go to either the upper or lower corners and then slide the mouse up. And then you'll notice settings is right here. Now if I open settings, let me make sure you understand this. This lower half are system-wide changes. For example, volume. So I can make volume changes. Okay. I can work on on-screen keyboard. All right. And that's a great one. That's actually grayed out for me because I'm not on a touch device. I can see notifications, network information, and so forth, right? This is where my power settings are. We'll talk more about that later. Then up here is context sensitive. Notice that since I'm on the start screen with tiles, I can set settings on my tiles. We saw that earlier when we turned on administrative tools. Then I can go back. But let me show you that if I right-click on the Mail tab, and I'm going to show you this another place in the course, but this is the one that tends to get people the most confused. If I right-click on the Mail tile, I get some options down here, but I don't see any real options for Mail. But if I open this and go in there, then if I go into that Charms menu and go to Settings, notice it's context sensitive, and this upper portion has where I can make specific changes about the Mail application. So there's a lot of different ways to do settings in here. There's a number of places to make settings changes, and the best thing I can tell you, especially when you're learning, start with a right click almost anywhere. Notice if I open Calendar, once I get inside Calendar, I can again go back to the Charms menu, go to Settings. You will see Accounts, Options, Feedback, Permissions. Notice I can set options here on my calendar. What color do I want it to be? Right, I can set it to be red. I can show birthdays and so forth. I won't waste your time with all this stuff. I can do all kinds of things. All right, but then I can also right click and see options, for example, to see it by day. Right click again, I can see it by week. Right click it again, and I can see it by month. All right, so lots of ways to do settings in here. Get used to the right click and make sure you understand the context aspects of the settings button inside the Charms bar. So that's a good overview of settings, and now let's drill into them a little deeper in separate videos.